It's the Biomedical Engineering News, and I'm so grateful to be here. I hope you guys are too. Let's put a little background music to get this day going, because I heard it's going to be a great day. And today is actually February 24th, 2021, and we've got so much fun things planned. I don't know if you know what's going on in the world, but I'm just going to give you a rundown on some fun things, and starting off with hey, who are we and what are we doing with our ideations? And let's use Evan Snyder as an influence. This guy is stem cell researcher. He just got named fellow of the American Institute for Medical and Biomedical Engineering. Let's dig deep into this guy. Let's try to figure out what are these deficiencies at virus test labs, and then maybe figure out bioprinting techniques for complex microstructures. And then we're gonna look at what it's like to be God, or at least God-like. Yup. And then we have some implants that improve balance for people with inner ear disorders. Yeah. Inner ear disorders. We've got another skin patch, and this is to help monitor your health, just in general. We'll figure it out. One more. We've got implants, skin patches. And this one's a Band-Aid. Yep, kind of like a Band-Aid that tests antibodies. Pretty cool. Oh, and then we've got some hot chaff. That's what we call it. This is rabies could mutate into a zombie virus. Yeah.
Did you seek medical treatment?
Yeah, probably not. We've got a new handheld device that aims to calm panic attacks real fast. Yeah, calm it down. Can I get
I think the doctor needs a doctor. I didn't ask for this.
No, we did. This is great, actually. All right, I think we're about ready to get into it. Maybe I might even put some background. I start off the podcast with a bunch of background noises like nature sounds, and I always thought that was very helpful for me to actually feel like I could I could just be one with everything. So this is just an idea. It's very loud. It's not enough though. I like the birds and the chirping, and I want just nature sounds, and I think this might be it. Just to make you feel like you're out there in the wild, and maybe if you're lucky, we'll get into some biohack stuff. Biohack of the day at the end of everything. Yeah, that sounds good to me. All right. Let's just jump it off with just that Evan Snyder. Who is Evan Snyder? That's what everybody's asking. And I think Evan Snyder, what he's done for stem cell is enough to be looked into. This photo looks. He is a professor of the Human Genetics program, and his research is actually. Maybe we can look at this.
The only way that you can make a therapy better is to understand how it was working to begin with. I'm Evan Snyder, and I work at SBP, and I am the director of the Center for Stem Cells in Regenerative Medicine. Bipolar disease, to the surprise of many, is a highly prevalent, highly lethal, highly incapacitating disease. It's the 6th leading cause of disability in the world. About 1/3 of patients will respond to lithium if they have bipolar disease, but nobody knows why. We found lithium's molecular target, did mapping upstream and downstream of the target, and mapped out what we like to call the lithium response pathway. Well, we found out that this pathway is absolutely critical for how nerve cells communicate with each other. With this kind of knowledge in hand, we know precisely what targets we would like other drugs to hit that are probably more precise than lithium, safer than lithium, with fewer side effects than lithium. If we find a drug that already exists, that can be screened out of a whole library because it's changed this pathway, that definitely accelerates progress to the clinic, and we could probably be in clinical trials in a year or two.
Wow. Clinical trials. And it's interesting to see him talk about lithium. And you're probably wondering, what is lithium? Well, lithium is sort of like a mood stabilizer, I believe. And I bet he's done more research past that. Parkinson's disease, hydrolase positive cells found since strontium turned to control measures. These are some pretty interesting, but his most recent seems to be valproate reverses mania-like behaviors in mice via preferential targeting of HDAC. And these are some pretty big publications. PubMed looks like he has 60 publications, and pretty cool. Pretty cool. HIV therapeutics, inflammo reaction. Looks good. Maybe we'll click on one. One looks like free. Alright, detoxifying. Inflammo attraction to direct therapeutic stem cell migration.
Hey!
Alright, you want to get into the abstract of the day? Abstract. This is our abstract of the day. Alright, this is the chemical mutagenesis of GPCR ligand detoxifying inflammo attraction to direct therapeutic stem cell migration. And this is probably, because this is one of his most recent publications, this might actually got him into the fellowship. Maybe. This looks like a big one. And this is all about, let's look at these figures real quick. Alright. The binding. Okay. Peptides. Cool. Alright. That looks great. So if you're not watching live on YouTube, we're live on YouTube, and we've got a great audience. We've got 2 people watching right now. Grateful for you guys. Alright, I'm going to read off this abstract, and let's try to make sense of this. Alright, so a transplanted stem cells engagement with pathogenic niche is the first step in its restoring homeostasis to that site. Inflammatory chemokines are constitutively produced in their niche. Their binding receptor is the stem cell, helps direct the stem cell's phototropism. What is phototropism? Well, I think the attraction to drugs towards disease structures. Alright, so natural stem cells, which express CXR4, migrate to sites of CNS injury or degradation in parts because astrocytes and vascular produce inflammatory cytokine, this one, CXCL12. Now, if you're wondering what is inflammatory chemokine, it kind of has to do with it's the signaling proteins that are secreted by cells, and it's pronounced cytokines. Yeah. I guess that regulates the function of cells. specifically stem cells that aren't growing. It induces movement. So let's look at these pictures. Or cytokines that sort of acts as a pathway between walls, proteins. Cool. All right, going back. All right, so the binding of this cytokine and the cytokine R4, a G protein coupled receptor, triggers a pair process within NSC. Although a tool directing NSCs to where the need has been long sought would not inject this cytokine in vivo. Yeah, would not inject. I just lost my spot. But I feel good that because undesirable inflammation also follows this coupling. So I guess if you have this coupling, you're able to control messages between cells. Alright, alternatively, we chemically mutated CXCL12, creating a CXCR4 against the contained a strong pure binding motif, linked to a signaling motif devoid of sequences responsible for synthetic functions. This synthetic dual moiety CXCR4 agonist not only elicited more extensive and persistent human NSC migration and distribution that did native CXCL12, but induced no host inflammation, otherwise adverse effects. Rather, there was predominantly reparative gene expression. When co-administered with transplanted human-induced pluripotent stem cell-derived HNSC in a mouse model of a prototypical neurodegenerative disease, the agonist enhanced migration. This migration, dissemination and integration of donor-derived cells into the diseased cerebral cortex included electrophysiologically active cortical neurons, where their secreted cross-corrective enzyme mediated a therapeutic impact unachieved by cells alone, such as desired cytokine receptor agonist peptide, illustrates the treatments can be controlled and optimized by exploiting fundamental stem cell properties, which is inflammation attraction. Yeah. Alright, so you're probably wondering what that key word is. Inflammo attraction. Well, I am too, and I think this is a good question to ask. I guess it's like you're able to attract the inflammation. Alright, so you got the docking and the binding. The ligand and the receptor. There you go. And how that... how does this get stem cells? So I guess when you've got these cytokines, you're able to Alright, my bit rate's actually much lower. Alright, let's see what we can do. But I feel good. I'm just gonna check, make sure everything's good on the stream. But if you're watching live, good for you. Cool, that looks good. Alright, let's move forward. Actually, I'm feeling this different birds. It just switched over to forest bird song, real time. And it looks like that one is copyrighted. I can't believe they just switched me over. But this one's an hour, so Alright, let's see how this one goes. Alright, this one looks great. I like a little water. Alright, moving forward. I think we about did all we can. Eric Snyder, good job for you, man. His work on lithium and the basic biology of stem cells. Multidisciplinary. Therapeutic potential. Pretty cool. And furthermore, you're probably wondering, what's the American Institute for Medical and Biological Engineering? Well, it's a nonprofit organization from 1991. And it's headquartered in Washington. It represents 50,000 engineers and medical personnel and academic institutions, private industry. Well, I guess it's very esteemed. Yeah. Alright. Well, let's just get past all that and jump into our next topic. We need a separator.
Nope.
Okay, that's good. Alright, California inspectors find deficiencies at virus test. Yeah. What is that? Virus test. Well, I guess the virus test lab at, there's a California, there's a new coronavirus testing laboratory. And inspectors came by there on Monday. And there was a rapid ramp up that they required from the lab's private operator, which had a $1.4 billion contract, which a fraction of 1% of the 1.5 million tests processed at the Valencia branch laboratory had problems. The state said in a preliminary report by Health and Human Services Secretary Dr. Mark Galley said one incorrect test result is one too many. Yeah, that's probably true. Probably true. I mean, the whole PCR test thing. I just gotta shake my head over it, cause how do you really even... I'm still waiting on when they're gonna have regulation on how many cycles for the PCR test. They haven't said, but I know they've talked about it, but we'll see what happens. But there's a lot to do with everything, and it's mostly political. But this $25 million lab that opened in October north of Los Angeles was unable to test about 250 samples due to lab errors, the state said. It issued corrected reports for about 60 samples. Yeah, so they just couldn't get them all. Some of the information provided since it has not been included in the inspection report. And it was in Sacramento. Okay, so the inconclusive test was caused by contamination, and the inaccurate results were sent to patients. So then there was at least 38 samples were reported incorrectly because of mix-ups in samples. Wow. That deserves a sound effect. How about this?
Medical emergency!
Yeah.
There he is.
There he is. All right. And I think that's good for that. Maybe let's get a little segue. much better now. Sometimes you just gotta have a little lo-fi breakdown just to get in some newer topics. And this topic, it looks pretty good to me. Alright, we've got new bioprinting technique, which allows for complex microtissues. This is big. Alright, bioprinting has been all the rage. I don't know if you guys heard about the new news, the bioprinting medical, the bioprinting food in Israel. They just released, the bioprinted food, and it's meat, and it's, it's a bioprinted meat. And maybe let's talk about that real quick so we can give some context. Bioprinted meat. And it's going in restaurants. Oh, let's use TMZ. This one looks fun. Alright, so TMZ. First edible 3D printed steak. Looks kinda tasty-ish. I think it's funny because TMZ will take these tough articles and just make it fun. Alright, meat lovers, animal rights activists can finally rejoice together, we think, because there's now a slaughter-free steak they can eat right off the dish. A petri dish. Look at this thing. It's beautiful. All the marbling and... So, they cooked it up using a 3D printer. Alright, let's see what this 3D printer looks like, though. What's the company called? Alright. I don't know if you guys can hear, but there's some construction going on. Alright, me the future. I don't see it. But, alright, let's just jump ahead. Back to the complex microtissues. So, alright, there's used to generate model tissues. And bioprinting techniques rely on printing cells embedded in hydrogels, which results in low cell density constructs, which are well below that is required to grow functional tissues. So then, maneuvering different kinds of cells into position to replicate the complex makeup of an organ, particularly at a organ-like cell densities, is still beyond their capabilities. But researchers at School of Engineering and Applied Science, what is that? It's University of Penn, of course. Oh, this is upenn.edu. Okay, there it is. They use a self-healing hydrogel that allows dense clusters of cells to be picked and placed in a three-dimensional suspension. Now, the researchers constructed a model of heart tissue that featured a mix of cells that mimic the results of a heart attack. That mimic the results of a heart attack. Okay, so I guess it's like agitated. Let's look at this picture a little bit better. Alright. The hydrogel. And then it sort of, puts them all together. Alright, this study, led by Jason Burdick, Robert D. Bent, professor of the Department of Bioengineering, and Andrew C. Daly, postdoctoral researcher in his lab. And it was published in Nature Communications. So, alright, so the group of cells can be made to clump into larger aggregates known as spheroids. Cool, so you don't even need the bioprinter. You could just put them in a gel, and then. So it's useful for studying biological questions that rely on the cell's 3D environments for the construction of new tissues. Pretty cool. Let's see if we can see this. Alright. 3D printing of high cell density heterogeneous tissue models through spheroid fusion within self-healing hydrogels. Alright, we're looking at this. Let's bring it up. Alright, so you've got the photos and illuminated photos. Deposit spheroid. self-healing, shear rate. Okay, didn't really have much of that. Okay, maybe this is the spheroid. Alright, 3D printed spheroid assemblies. And, alright, so there's layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. Pretty cool. Alright. Let's, spheroid fusion. Alright, so there's the culture and the fusion, and then you remove it from the gel. Wow, that's pretty cool right there. Okay, so the hydrogel acts as the binding liquid. Alright. That looks good. Let's get, Alright. Alright, time for the rise of godlike beings. Yeah, godlike beings. I want to give myself a transition to make myself look a little bit smaller than God, because seems about right. Alright, so today we're on the cusp of the most profound crisis, what I call an uber crisis. Alright, it's traced back to at least Herodotus, who wrote, "The wisest man will appear an ape in relation to God, both in wisdom and beauty and everything else." Alright, so the question of whether to create noetic beings we have very soon. Will person engineering technologies be used on this end? Here are 4 emerging person engineering technologies with this potential. 1. Genetic engineering. 2. Advanced pharmacology. 3. Advanced computing technology. 4. Cyborg technology. Yeah. And let's add a few qualifications, and there's no single application of any of these technologies will lead to the creation of noetic beings. Rather, we should expect a rapid feedback loop. For example, we genetically engineer descendants who are 10% more intelligent. They will be even better at person engineering. So we'll create descendants who are even smarter, and so on, modeling with new generation every 25 years. This would mean a doubling of intelligence in under 200 years. My predictions is that if genetic engineering is directed to increasing intelligence, the gains would be much larger, and the length between generations much shorter. Second, his claim is that one of these technologies, or a similar one I'm not aware of, will make radical person engineering possible. Some of these technologies I've mentioned might prove unworkable. And they've included a video. Let's try watching. This is a 45-minute video. It's from the Institute Art, and its association with Motherboard. And we've got Anders Sandberg, the transhumanist. Yeah, typical.
Transhumanism continues this and say, yeah, actually we can fix some of our biological shortcomings. Why should we age? Why should we just
real quick, I just want to say I'm afraid for that playing next one.
Work in memory at the same
it's all
time.
shaking. And it's very close to
Couldn't we actually fix a lot of part of a human condition?
Didn't even give him a chance to talk. My bad, Anders.
It's not that these are new moral questions. They're the same old human questions, just being framed in a new way.
Alright, so they're giving these characters, cool.
How do we let technology adapt our bodies, and how do we
Nice
become
prosthetic.
enhanced by technology, but without becoming identical?
Nikki, cool. Brave New Horizon. Where will technology lead the human race? And they're clapping for him.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for joining us in this debate. It's called Brave New Horizon. I'm Victoria Turk, UK editor of Motherboard. Now, the theme of the debate right now is essentially the future of humankind, but a bit more specifically, human enhancement. Designer babies, cyborgs, the whole idea of human enhancement has long been confined to the realm of sci-fi. But with advances in everything from genetic engineering to robotics, it's now becoming very much a reality, or at least a potential future reality. The question is, should we be embracing these advances wholeheartedly, or do we perhaps have cause for concern? What future are we heading towards, and do we Joining me to discuss these issues, we have Anders Sandberg. He's a
Great
philosopher
intro.
from the Future of Humanity Institute at Oxford University. Richard Morgan, sci-fi
I'm
writer.
gonna stop this. Maybe I might get dinged. I don't know. But that was great. I feel good about it. Let's see some clips maybe.
It seems likely that's going to be a big problem. How can we get a lock on ourselves so that we don't do that and we go somewhere else with it? And I think our chances of doing that are getting better all the time. It's not that they're
widely used, but since they're drugs, they're really creepy and scary, according to official society. But putting electric cars through your scalp, that's unregulated, so people can build thinking caps freely. So then we have
thinking
a
caps.
great-grandmother who apparently, because I never really knew her, was petrified of the telephone. Literally petrified of it. She couldn't use it. She didn't want to go near it. It sat in the hall on the stand, and she would skirt it. Yeah, because it was this thing that could bring strangers into your home invisibly, without any control from your point of view. You could not do anything about that. Phone would ring, the guy is there. What are you going to do? And obviously, that's not an issue we have now. Similarly with video games.
Well, yes, in the future, he says we're going to be so
but generally the
desensitized that it'll be cool. We'll accept these things, and I agree. Like they say, oh, the Neuralink is going to be on the market this year. I don't know if you remember, but when's Neuralink? Neuralink debut. It's going to be like November or something. We'll debut this Friday. What? Oh, right. They did the Neuralink debut with the pig. Right. But human trials? Right. Like a Fitbit in your skull. Yep. Whatever. Let's look at this video if you guys remember. This is too big. Right, there's the... Okay. Yep. But when's the next debut? Market. I wish I remember. If you guys know, say something in the chat. Maybe that might help. Alright, whatever. I wish they would just say. None of these links really look like it. 2017, Alright, I feel good about that. 3D printing, the rise of AI. I hope you're spooked. We're gonna get even more spooked because we got great segments coming up. Yeah, great segments. Every day is a segment. And for this one, we've got Implant, which improves balance for people with inner ear disorder. We're going to chop through this real quick. We have, got improvement in performance on standardized clinical tests of balance and walking. It's been remarkable, says Margaret Chow. All right. So surgically implanted stimulator could ease walking and relieve dizziness, which could improve quality of life for people with bilateral vestibular hypofunction, which is the loss of the inner ear's balance. Now, how often do you get vestibular hypoacusia?
Balance disorders are the #1 disorder seen after head injuries. Clearly, that the balance, as your organization and others have described very well, is a multi-part system. And it involves inputs from the eyes and the ears and the hips and the ankles, and of course the brain, both the lower brainstem as well as the upper brainstem. The components of that are injured may be the inner ears. They may not be as perceptive at picking up balance clues. That has a feedback loop on every other part of the vestibular system.
It sort of feels like your body can't hold you up. Like it feels like everything's moving sort of around you, because I also had the dizziness and the balance together. It's like my body couldn't hold myself. Like I couldn't really understand how to stand up properly and like stay in one spot.
So if I feel I may be off balance, I'm gonna put a lot of energy into my hips, my ankles, my quadriceps, as well as my ears and eyes to try to keep myself balanced. And that doesn't leave a lot left over for thinking, processing, and therefore I'll have a secondary cognitive disorder that is produced by the head injury and also by the energy drain for balance.
I can't hang out with a lot of my friends. Like they go, like I can't really go out because there's too many people. Makes me dizzy. Even just going shopping, just walking around too much. Like I get just like, I feel like my brain's exhausted.
Two important aspects people need to pay attention to with the balance disorder. First of all, is not to minimize it.
If you're feeling motion sickness, dizzy, things aren't just not right, your balance, your spatial awareness, it's worth bringing up, hey, do I have a vestibular issue? It's worth checking out vestibular.org to see if there's some information there that may help you.
Enter the system in the appropriate fashion through pediatrics, through adolescent medicine, through internal medicine, depending on what your entry point is. And then if there's a balance disorder, ask that individual to refer you to an otolaryngologist that does vestibular diagnostics and treatment.
I'm Bryce Salvador, former...
Thanks, Bryce. Great job. All right, so that's fun. So we got Implant to actually help with people who have balance issues after hitting their head pretty hard. So this stimulator actually electrically bypasses malfunctioning areas of the inner ear and partially restores the sensation of balance. All right, that's pretty cool. You know what? So it's a modified cochlear implant, and you know I don't know if you guys saw the movie. What is the movie called? It is called The Sound of Metal, and I just watched a little bit of it. But it's pretty crazy. The guy loses his hearing after being somebody that's a hardcore drummer, and he loses his hearings. And I recommend it. Apparently, it's going up for a bunch of awards, and I bet it's similar to this. They're like, oh, you're gonna get an implant, and it's going to be about $40,000. And he's like, hey, I can't afford it. Maybe I can. He's like, can I get it done now? And I'm like, oh, boy, I don't know. I got to get back to it. Maybe I've just been busy. But let's get back to the article, all right? Cool. All right, so we got the modified cochlear implant. And it's, I guess it works. To maintain balance while moving through the world around us, our brains receive and process data from multiple sensory systems, including vision, proprioception, which is the muscles and joints, and vestibular sensation from the inner ears. So, people with BVH have difficulty keeping their eyes, head, and body steady. Head movements make their vision jump and blur, and walking requires conscious effort, forced to deal with this mental distraction. Alright, so BVH suffer a more than 30-fold increase in fall risk and social stigma. So they walk like they're drunk. Sounds like it. So people have actually gotten this implant. And there's improvement in gait and quality of life. So in their study, researchers evaluated 8 patients with BVH who received the vestibular implant and assessing changes in postural stability, walking, hearing, and patient-reported outcomes, including dizziness and quality of life. And they conducted assessments before the surgery and 6 months and then 1 year, and the median scores improved for the group on 4 of the 5 posture and gait metrics. Now, 3 of the 4 patient-reported outcomes. All 8 participants experienced some hearing loss in the implanted ear. Now, 5 maintained hearing in the implanted ear sufficient to use the telephone without a hearing aid. 3 experienced greater hearing loss. Wow. That's That's a tough call. Would you lose your hearing just for your balance? Now this implant was supported by the Deafness and Other Communication Disorders Institute and Johns Hopkins University and Labyrinth Devices LLC. So Labyrinth Devices is a medical device company developing new technology for diagnosing and treating people with disorders of the vestibular labyrinth. Pretty cool. Pretty empty website though. Looks pretty suspicious. Alright, maybe it's just my thing. Alright. Check out the movie. Let's move forward. More sticky stuff for your skin. All right, or actually, this doesn't go on the inside. This goes outside. This is a new skin patch that provides all-in-one health monitoring capabilities. So, this thin, flexible patch worn on the neck can track the wearer's heart rate and blood pressure, as well as blood glucose levels. Pretty cool. The technology described. So I think this is probably the biggest part. The glucose levels. Like, what? I know they're talking about having like devices where you don't have to prick your finger anymore. I guess it's maybe an implant. But this just technology described Monday in the journal Nature Biomedical Engineering can measure the amount of lactate, alcohol, and caffeine in the wearer's blood. Whoa. What? Okay. This type of wearable would be very helpful to people with underlying medical conditions to monitor their own health on a regular basis. Alright, so this would also serve as a great tool for remote patient monitoring, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, where people are minimizing in-person visits to the clinic. In addition to monitoring chronic conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure, as well as pinpointing the onset of sepsis. The patch could actually predict people at risk of being severely ill with COVID-19. Now let's check out this article. An epidermal patch for this simultaneous, what is that? Simultaneous. I just gave up. Simultaneous monitoring of hemodynamic and metabolic biomarkers. So the epidermal actually goes into your skin, yeah. But it's the outermost of the three layers that make up the skin. So the dermis, and then the hypodermis, and then the epidermis. So that's pretty cool. Just you know, not too invasive. And let's look at some pictures. We got some pictures? Alright. So here we are. Alright, so there's this analyte and the sweat ISF analyte and then the sweat analyte, and it looks like 2 electrodes going into the body, and then you got the skin on the neck, and then you got the chemical sensors. You got the anode and the cathode and the BP sensors. Now the sweat and the ISF act as the anode and the cathode, which reverberates off the posterior wall of a blood vessel. So it's sort of like an ultrasound, I guess. No sound, actually. I'm just but they do have measurements looking like projections into the skin. Alright, so you got daily activity, caffeine, glucose, lactate, alcohol, and then the body's response. And they've got the sweat biomarker and the ISF biomarker. And there you go. Cool. That looks good to me. I'm excited to try that one day. Alright, speaking on another skin sticky thing, here we've got this Band-Aid inspired antibody home test kit design is the simple and safe home testing solution we need. Alright, COVID-19 has left us with many questions that need to be answered in case another pandemic strikes again. Even though the vaccine for the year-long disease has just jolted the world's beings, a refreshing change in how we perceive the current future. The threat is still not all gone. Yeah, there are hotspots all around the world that needs to be scanned for the viruses. And a handy antibody test kit is more than we need for the hour. Yu Zhao, a medical student at this university, has come up with the testin. Name so nice you gotta say it twice? What? Alright, so if you're watching on YouTube, it's a sticker thing. And then you press the... Alright, so you put it on your skin, you press the button, collects blood, and then you press it again. And it's the diluting button, and then you... Alright, so there's two little buttons on the side that you squeeze together, and then collects the blood, and then you dilute it, and then the test result appears. Oh boy, that's spooky. Look at these little things, they're little prickers. Put it around there. It's pretty cool innovation. Antibody test kit. Alright. Now that's some good looking product design. It's got a little sliding and sort of push it into your skin. It's got a bunch of needles. Okay. Alright. That looks good to me. Let's move on. I know you're hyped. I think you are hyped. Actually, did I ever get this filter going on here? Yeah, I got the docking filter. Alright, cool. So it's definitely there. But let's just talk about how rabies could mutate into zombie virus, says the new study. So this new Italian study cautions that rabies virus could mutate, either naturally or artificially, into apocalyptic disease that turns humans into hyper-aggressive zombies. Admittedly, the paper approaches the theoretical idea that since the rise of COVID-19, the world must begin to think out of the box, which comes to large-scale epidemics. While rabies could not cause a severe zombie apocalypse today, the paper argues that it is possible that the virus could be tweaked to incubate faster, thus the enhanced neurotoxicity and the predisposition towards developing highly aggressive behaviors. Alright, so here's some background. This article goes. They go, what is rabies? Alright, so this is a great question, actually. Rabies is a predominantly spread and sustained by the rabies Lassa virus. It is a virus belonging to the Rabidae family. Like other viruses, such as COVID-19, the Lassa virus is believed to have originated in a bat population that transferred to the virus to other mammals, such as rodents and dogs. Alright, so this is actually really great. So rabies is a virus. That's a, and you see that when you get bit by something with this, it does induce an effect, and that's definitely contagion. Don't know how to respond to that, but maybe it's something else. Alright, so the common method of infection occurs when infected mammal scratches or bites another mammal. This virus is typically passed through salvia, according to the World Health Organization. In predominantly developing countries, roughly 99% of cases are caused by infected dogs attacking humans. In America, where rabies is actually relatively rare in the canine population, bats remain the virus's key transmitter. Alright, so rabies takes two forms in humans. Roughly 20% of cases are paralytic, which causes the body to shut down slowly. If untreated, the patient eventually loses consciousness and dies. The more common is virus rabies, which causes the patient to become hyperactive, excitable, and at times aggressive. So hydrophobia, fear of water, is also a common symptom. And aerophobia, fear of fresh air, may also occur. If left untreated, the patient will die within a few days of the onset of symptoms to cardiorespiratory arrest. Alright, so this is a great little image. So this is the pathogenesis of the rabies virus. Alright, so here we go. 1. The dog bites you, then that's the viral incubation from a rapid dog bite or a rabid animal. 2. The virus replicates in the muscle. 3. The virus binds to nicotinic acetylic receptors at the neuromuscular junctions. And then 4. This virus travels with axons in peripheral nerves through axonal transport. 5. Replications take place in the motor neuron of spinal cord or ganglia travels to brain. 6. Infection of brain neurons leading to fatal inflammation. And then, just side note, says, epiphanitis is a condition where there is inflammation of the brain. This is caused by rabies viral infection. And then 7. Virus enters salivary glands or other organs of the victim. Alright, so get that bite, and then it goes back into your virus, and then it goes whoop. Alright, so the CDC created a graphic novel and series of posters describing how it would handle a possible virus outbreak. Mostly tongue-in-cheek, the CDC provided the public a view into how they generally prepare for and react to any large-scale epidemic. That same year, several junior officers from a Department of Defense training program put together a tactical plan on how the government would deal with an active zombie threat. Alright, so let's just look at both of these. Alright, so this is the WHO, and this is the graphical novel. Do you got links to this? Alright, no. But that's the cover art. And then this seems to be the protocol. Defense, zombie related threats. Yeah, give me a comment in the description of the video. 1 to 10, how much you believe zombie outbreak is real. Alright, so this is the CDC zombie preparedness blog, preparation posters, and there's the graphic novel. Alright, so let's look at this novel. Alright, cool. Alright, get to pick the next movie. Give me one that's gonna give me nightmares. Ah! Oh, you're such a baby. It wasn't really that scary. You know that kind of stuff never happens. Oh, I'm going to try to get some sleep. Don't stay up too late. Alright, Max, I'll be on the back lookout for the boogeyman. Haha. Sitting on the floor, the dog's looking cute. And then click. Stay tuned for Channel 2 Nightly News. And then the news goes, in other news, several people have been hospitalized after a strange virus began spreading rapidly through the southeast. Scientists haven't identified the virus yet, but symptoms include slow movement, slurred speech, and violent tendencies. Alright. Oh, okay, so this guy goes, let's check the internet, zombie virus. Doesn't look good, so he goes CDC, and then he prints the emergency. Alright, I'm running out of space. Okay. Alright, let's run this over. I'm having too much fun. So if you're listening to the audio version, probably gonna run out. Maybe I can change the location of the output. Recording to, how about local disk? Properties. Yeah, let's select this folder. Alright. Alright, so he goes and prints off the emergency, and then he goes to the cabinet, gathers his supplies. Next pair go down to the basement, and then he has a listener, crank radio, water, food, radio, flashlight, and then the dog grabs his dog food. Oh yeah, bet some of your stuff too. Alright, potato chips. Uh-oh. Oh boy, and then they go back to watching horror movies, and then thump. And he turns on the news, and it's more zombies. Ah! And then the dog gets a little vicious. He goes, "Arr." And then he goes, "What's all this racket?" And then the cat, "Snowball, what are you doing?" And the cat goes, "Psst." And then he goes, let's actually make this bigger for everybody. Alright, he goes, I don't know. But you're missing out on the bottom half of it. Let's see if I can. Hello? Miss Clementine? And then, actually, let's go back so you can see it full screen. And then she's there with her teeth missing. I'll bring Snowball by in the morning. And she goes up and she tries to bite him, and she's feeding him stuff. Alright, pushes her out the door. Slam! What in the world is going on down there? Let's give some music for this. Alright, it just takes away from the suspense. Alright, what in the world's going on down there? Something weird's happening. And then, seriously, there's a weird virus going around. Look at the news. She looks at the news, and then it goes, alright, we're gonna just sleep down here. And then they turn on the radio, and what? Zombies are all outside. Uh-oh. The TV's down. Then there's a part 2. And then zombies are going through the walls. And then they're at the CDC and the EID. Oh boy, and then they're diagnosing. I agree, I've called everyone on this. They're working around the clock. Alright, same type of vaccine that we use for this. Thomas has begun modeling the vaccine. I will work once again. It works, enters the bloodstream. We're using the same type of vaccine that we use for the seasonal flu. By engineering it to target this thing. Yeah. Pushes up his glasses. Alright, then you got the governor on the phone. Stockpile! Strategic national stockpile. They're looking out the windows now and getting in the car. I just want to get this over with. Alright, how's that end? Then they're driving through the car, they're in FEMA camps. Pulls out his radio. Oh, we're saved. I can't believe it. Vaccines? Oh, folks, the vaccines are on their way. Yay! Alright, folks, we'll go start shipping out the first round of vaccines and supplies to the states. Alright, zombies. Quick, get the truck inside the gate. Here they come. Oh, boy. I don't know if it's a happy ending. They head down to the basement. Severe thunderstorms. Yeah. Alright, the end? Question mark. That was great. Thanks for... Whew. Alright, let's get to... Yeah. Alright, this new handheld device aims to calm panic attacks fast. Alright, this simple tool is designed to take effect within minutes. simple tools designed to take effect within minutes. So, alright, so this new handheld device aims to calm panic attacks fast. So I just restarted the recording for the people that are listening to the audio. You kind of missed the ending of that dramatic graphic novel, but talking about how the CDC uses a virus vaccines just like the normal flu and saves the day. Good for them. Great. Combating the virus just like that. Alright, so we've got new handheld device. Alright, yep. New handheld device aims to calm panic attacks fast. So this biomedical engineering graduate in Israel began to wonder if she could engineer her own way to panic attacks by building a medical device that could provide calming and relief. Alright, so Adi Wallach founded a company that sells CalmiGo, a handheld device that looks like an asthma inhaler and sells for $129. So this panic relieving technology developed by this company engages vision, touch, and smell to reduce stress. She's so proud. It's good. Pursuing an undergraduate degree at the Israel Institute of Technology. Alright, so how it works. Let's just see if there's a video.
This is CalmiGo, a brand new concept in the drug-free relaxation world. Its cutting-edge technology immediately adapts to your needs to create a rapid calming effect. Here's how it works. CalmiGo implements 3 proven methods that induce fast, long-term calm: breathing regulation, relaxing sense, and multisensory stimulation. To turn CalmiGo on, press the power button on the front of the device. The feedback lights will momentarily turn on. When you are ready, exhale through your mouth into the mouthpiece. Once you have completed exhalation, start inhaling through your nose and experience the relaxing sensation brought on by the scented element.
Scented element. That's odd. I don't know what that means. Drug free. You blow through it. Did anybody catch that? I'm not sure what it's like. So you blow through it. Personalized light, vibration cues, multisensory stimulation. There's like a little doohickey on the side that you can scratch on. And then there's calming scents, scented elements. Exhale, inhale it through your nose, do the scent, and then you relax. Immediate sense of calm. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. Boston Marathon. What does that say? Boston. Alright, I like the colors. They kind of match my colors. If you're watching live on YouTube, I've got a new aura that surrounds me. It's blue and yellow. Alright, that was great. I think we about did it. I'm about done with COVID tests. I think that sticky one was great. Let's just get out of here. Thanks for watching, guys. That was very highly distorted. Bye now.